A lot of people are surprised when they see cherry blossoms this early. Are they gonna miss it? Is it too late? The answer, well, we're gonna talk about that in today's live stream. Check it out. These Kanzakura blossom around the middle of February every year. And they're the first to come out. Not the first, actually. There's some other varieties that come out, and right now in Tokyo, you're starting to see this, especially in Shizuoka, this variety of cherry blossoms. It really is beautiful to see. The schedule for the cherry blossoms, they just released the 6th schedule for the cherry blossoms, and we're going to talk about that today. Like it is kind of freaky to see this so early, and a lot of people don't quite understand that the cherry blossoms, there's 47 varieties according to the city of Tokyo of cherry blossoms in the city here. Well, at least that's introduced. This is from the Tokyo City government, and the varieties of cherry blossoms, they bloom at different times, so nothing is really coming out at a particular point in time for your trip to plan. These are the ones that are blooming before. Kanzakura is the one we see right there. That's blooming right now where I am in Tokyo. These will bloom before the Some Yoshino. And the Some Yoshino, which you see coming up next, they're the ones that are the most prevalent around the country, and that's the most famous. So at the festivals, the cherry blossom festivals, you're going to see Kanzakura everywhere. Sorry, the Some Yoshino everywhere. And that's the one, when they talk about the schedule, that's the one that people plan around. But you're going to be able to see cherry blossoms at different times as well. It's pretty incredible. I'll put a link in the description to this cherry blossom resource from the city of Tokyo so that you can check it out for yourself. But it is really, really beautiful right now. And we've had, the last 3-4 days have been spring warm. It really does feel like spring is here. Here's the schedule that was released. This is the 6th schedule for cherry blossoms across Japan from the Japan Meteorological Corporation. And you can see it's on schedule. So if you are planning to come to see the cherry blossoms, the Some Yoshino cherry blossoms in Tokyo, it's going to start to bloom on the 24th. And it says, I think we're going to start to peak around the 28th or 29th. So for the majority of people this year, you're going to be in time, because last year it was super late. And a lot of people that came on time ended up missing the cherry blossoms completely, at least the festival part of it. And that's what we're talking about here, the Some Yoshino. It's the festival part of it. Gosh, that is so beautiful. The Kanzakura is great. Just down the street, I found, this is one of my favorite trees in my neighborhood here. This is just starting to bloom as well. And you saw that was, this tree was one of the trees in the Tokyo's blooming guide that they had, the 47 different varieties in the city. This one's more of a purple. You can see the bees already starting to pollinate it. This is the last day of February. March 1st is just around the corner. You can smell spring with the blue skies here. How you doing, everybody? Shout out to Bradshaw's studio. Thank you for that. This is the Okame Zakura. This variety blooms before the Some Yoshino, and you start to see it in the city of Tokyo. So you're going to start to see blossoms, and you're going to say, wait a second, it's not the cherry blossom season. Actually, it is. Actually, it is. Here's the shot that I took of it. It's nice to have an extension stick. You don't want to touch the blossoms, but if you do have an extension stick, you can get up there and see some of the blossoms, take pictures like that. It's kind of neat. The plum blossoms are out. My friends at Tokyo Cheapo have a guide on this kind of stuff, and they talk about it, so it might be worth checking that out. I don't have to reiterate everything that they said, because they did a pretty good job of it. Also, I wanted to talk about today's sponsor, Magical Trip. So I've been lucky enough to take about three trips for Magical Trip over the course of the last few years. One of them was, the latest one was in Shinjuku, where showed me around Shinjuku, and he's a local, so getting that kind of information from a local is really nice. I like the fact that they do support local businesses, and it's all done locally. It's kind of a key word for me and what I like to do with my own shows, so this is kind of a win-win. The Hiroshima tour with Ryo was just so incredible, and he had a great uncle or a grandfather that was living nearby Hiroshima. I got a chance to interview him, and the insight from him and his son really made Hiroshima, I guess, more impactful visiting. And then this is a Kyoto foodie tour. And again, like for solo travelers, one of our viewers, Caroline, reminded me that it can be hard being a solo traveler in Japan. So going out with a guide, making new friends is kind of the way to go for solo travelers. I think it's a lot of fun, but it can be quite intimidating eating Japanese food. Guides can demystify that for you, and you'll discover new Japanese foods that you didn't even know exist. For anybody who's watching, Magical Trip is giving us a 5% discount. The link is in the description of this video. Go check it out, and thank you very much for supporting this episode. So let's take a look more at the cities in Japan that are going to be blossoming really soon. This released again just yesterday, and because of the warm weather, I thought maybe this is going to reflect it. If the weather stays the way it is right now, I don't have a jacket on really. I could go short sleeve right now. It's going to bloom earlier than this, and if it does deviate, I'll let you know. But right now we're seeing Aomori pretty much on target. It looks like it's going to bloom a day earlier. That's what the -1 is for, I believe. Kanazawa maybe 2 days later. They've gotten a lot of snow. It's a lot cooler over there on the Sea of Japan side. But places like Nagoya, it looks like, you know what, it was a cold winter. Maybe it's going to be, let's just say roughly about the same, right? Tokyo is on target though. You see that right in the middle. This is the destination, the port of call for most people. That's going to be on March 24th. It's going to start to blossom, and then you're going to see it full bloom according to this on April 1st. So you can't get any more perfect than that. Looks like it's right on target. A lot of people are already coming here to the park to take pictures of this Kanzakura blooming here. If you're looking at Kochi Prefecture, that's usually one of the first along with Tokyo. Tokyo's got that urban heat, so usually the blossoms, the reflections off of the glass from the buildings, get them to bloom even earlier. We'll start to hear the meteorologist and the TV news start to go crazy around the 17th or 18th of March, as the indicator tree at Yasukuni Shrine will start to show blossoms. And I think it's like 12 or 13 blossoms on there. They're going to start, that's when they say the season starts. So that's sort of how the Japan Meteorological Association determines that information. Kagoshima on the 26th. Even though, you know, Japan is east to west, not north to south. So that's something that I think you should consider as well. Going to Kagoshima, it's going west, although a little bit south. It's west-southwest, so they might blossom a little bit earlier. But again, it's still a little bit too early to tell, but at this point you can pin down your travel plans and make sure that you are timing it good. And for most of you, you probably are this year, which is actually quite good news. Carol's writing in from Ontario. How you doing? I have here some Sakura tea that I thought I would share with you. This is also the time of year where you start to get, this is Itoan, which is the biggest green tea company in the world. They have a brand new Sakura green tea that just debuted, and we're going to try this out right now. And I said that if we get a certain amount of super chats, I might eat a cherry blossom, which I discourage you not to do. But stranger things have happened. All right, itadakimasu. Holy smokes. That's really good. They did a really good, I gotta get more of this stuff before it's gone. Typically, and I wanna give you some advice here, the cherry blossom packaged stuff is usually sold out by the time the blossoms actually bloom. So if you get your hands on this stuff now, trust me, it's not gonna be, this is really good. It's not sweet, no sugar, but it's got a floral taste to it. And I think that you're really gonna like this one. Oh, this is really good. This is maybe the best flavored tea I've ever had in my life. I don't know what did they infuse the cherry blossoms in there? It has salted, so that's it. Cherry blossoms in confections, they're kind of salted, preserved. So it's got the salted cherry blossom in there. And a little bit of vitamin C. This is impressive. All right, I gotta go get more of this stuff. They sell out like before March sometimes. The beer cans all have cherry blossom designs right now. Those could sell out as well quite early. So you won't see those around. The pink Asahi super dry cans are gone usually before the cherry blossoms go. Wi-Fi addict here. I will be in Tokyo, Osaka, and Hiroshima from April 28th to May 11th. Will be too late to have the Sakura experience. You know what? If you go up to April 28th, if you go up to Tohoku, that's about the time where it's going to be peaking at one of my favorite places in Aomori. So you're still going to be able to see, if you go up to Aomori, Wi-Fi addict, you should be able to see the cherry blossoms up there. So you'll be able to catch it. And Narius writes in here, technically the official start of the cherry blossom season is when Starbucks starts the cherry blossom. That's sort of true. That's sort of true. We're already seeing it, and this year they're using peach instead of cherry blossom taste, like white peach. So peach is the flavor of the month right now. I think they have Sakura liqueur. I bought that in Nara. Now this Kanzakura isn't even close to being fully bloomed. You can see it's still budding. These are live images from Tokyo right now. The afternoon of February 28th, believe it or not, the end of the month, which is crazy. Let's go take a look at this tree here. Mr. Donuts has their Sakura donuts. Starbucks has their Sakura donuts too, but I think Mr. Donuts is a little bit better. Mr. Donuts is just a little bit better. I don't know, maybe the price. iPhone 14 Pro is doing a pretty good job with that bokeh, huh? I know some people say bokeh in Japanese. It's pronounced bokeh, and it's a Japanese word, so that would be the correct way to say bokeh, would be bokeh. Bokeh. So you can give your favorite tech creators some slack if they don't give them slack. They say bokeh. It's wrong. I want to see a bee attack that one blossom right there. Come on, bee. Do it. They don't smell right now. This variety doesn't smell. Some of them are very floral, some of them are not. The Kanzakura doesn't have a smell to it. No, it doesn't have an odor to it, but it will tickle your nose if you do stick it in there. Champagne Sumo writes in here, now I want a cherry Coke. You know, when I first came to Japan, I used to drink that all the time. You couldn't get it anywhere else. It was a rare thing. You could get it at like the Sony Plaza in Tokyo. And I was living in Nagoya. We didn't have it there. So I'd come up to Tokyo and that would be one of the things that I get. But nowadays, you can't even find cherry Coke anymore in Japan right now. They used to have vanilla Coke. They had all sorts of Cokes, but Coke is not that popular. But beautiful. Yesterday, I took a look at the, oh, look at the pigeon just came down here. Hey, you! He wants to get in on the stream. I took a look at the coffee, the canned coffee celebrating 56 years. What is celebrating? I don't know. I thought it was 50 years, 55 years. They debuted at the Osaka Expo. And one thing I got a lot of comments from that. I think we got about 100 comments or something like that. One of the things that I forgot to mention was that canned coffee is not nearly as popular as it was 20 years ago when I first came to Japan. It's because 7-Eleven and Starbucks and now coffee shops are ubiquitous all over the city. And when I came here, you couldn't get coffee at a convenience store. The only coffee that you could get was a canned coffee. So it was the only thing I could lean on back then if you wanted coffee, or make it yourself. And even then it was like the instant kind, the pre-ground kind or something. You didn't get into the specialty coffees, but now everything has changed so much that canned coffee really had to step up its game. Tully's and other shops are marketing into the vending machines. So the times has changed quite a bit. Japan has become a coffee country in a way, with the land of green tea, which is kind of funny. But you know, people don't want to drink coffee. They want to drink green tea at home, and they want to drink coffee when they're not at home. That's what I was told. A follow-up question from Wi-Fi Addict here. Since I hear Golden Week is very busy across the country, would it be worth shifting the dates when I'm visiting? I think so. Well, it just depends. So if we look back at the schedule, it's a really good question. A lot of people are thinking the same thing. This schedule is kind of your marker here. So for this, the Cherry Blossom Festival, champagne donut donation for the special donuts. I think we hit the goal where I'm supposed to eat a blossom. I'll see if something has fallen. So let me put it to you like this. Nature doesn't come to you, you go to nature. So there are places in Japan where the blossoms are blooming in late April, you go to them. Is it worth it? I think it is. You know, if you ask me, you might be able to catch the end of the Hirosaki Cherry Blossom Festival in Aomori, and that is my favorite. In fact, one of my favorite live streams on this channel, and I've done well over 1,000 live streams since 2017, is the one at the Hirosaki Cherry Blossom Festival. Please watch that on this channel. I think it's on this channel. I meet, like, the festival rides and stuff that they do is incredible, but the tunnel, the Cherry Blossom Tunnel there, you get everything that you're looking for in the Sakura festivals in Aomori. And just hop on the Shinkansen if you get a pass, and you can go up to Hakodate, and it's even a few days later. So you're going to be timing it perfect. Why not? You know, if you want to go change your trip around, spend a day up in Hakodate, you'd be able to see it at the park. There's one with the star. I forget what that place is called. Gyo something Koen. It's a beautiful place. But Aomori's Hirosaki Sakura Festival is, in my opinion, the best in Japan. I just love it. Every year I target to try to go up there, but I never really make it. Michael writes in, are you having caffeine withdrawal? Maybe. I was up all night editing, actually, for an episode that I'm doing with on Japanese infrastructure. It's kind of a complicated episode, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Goryokaku, that's right. They had some cherry blossoms there that were blooming just before Golden Week, and Kanai and I went there when I was hitchhiking in 2017, and it was beautiful. We timed it perfect. So I would recommend going up there if you want to see the cherry blossoms. Let's go back over to this tree. The products come out, and as soon as Valentine's Day is done, Sakura stuff starts coming out. It's a true story. It was interesting though to find out, like, how do they forecast this, right? And I found this here. The JMC has devised its own method for forecasting flowering and full bloom dates on existing research on the forecasting of flowering and full blooms of the Someyoshino trees. Again, that's the indicator there, Someyoshino. The JMC estimates the flowering and full bloom dates from each area based on the low temperatures during autumn and winter, cherry tree growth status, cumulative temperatures, and past data for each area. So there's some science behind it. It's not just made up stuff. Look at the way the sun is hitting it. No, Champagne Sumo, the bees are out. I see them pollinating the other tree down the street. This is one of my favorite bridges. This is in Hachobori. Do you see that bridge over there? Going back to like early 1920s, I think. It's a really pretty bridge going over the canals off of the Sumida River there. There's a beautiful cherry blossom tree, and this is the Someyoshino one, right at the end of the bridge, and it doesn't even have any buds on it yet. So you can see that different varieties are blooming at different times. That one, it'd be right there. It's not even budding, so we're still about 3 weeks out, I'd say, for that particular tree, but it depends. Some of the trees that are in the shade, they'll bloom a little bit later. And the trees that have a lot more sunlight will bloom a little bit earlier. And the trees that are surrounded by glass and all of the buildings, they're gonna bloom even earlier because the heat that comes off of the reflections from the buildings definitely will convince these blossoms to come out like 2 or 3 days earlier. So you have full blooming before the rest of the trees are fully bloomed, just because the trees getting hit in different ways. But if you ask me the temperature in Tokyo, it is crazy right now. It is warm for the end of February. Definitely feels like spring is here. And that's a dangerous thing because it's hard for me to stay inside and work when you have days like this. Full sun and warmth. Oh my goodness, folks, it's so nice out here. Are there blossoms in Ueno around the second week of March? There could be that you're going to see the buds, and you're going to see maybe there's a few varieties of cherry blossoms that bloom early, but Ueno is very famous for the Someyoshino. So I would say you're probably not going to get a great experience until the third week of March, and then the first week of April. It's around that time. That's kind of the sweet spot. And since it looks like the blooming starts around the 24th of March, I don't think the second week you're really going to have much there. You'll start to see some buzz, but you're not going to really catch the cherry blossoms. But I could be wrong. If the weather stays the way it is right now, it could bloom early. But I don't think by much, because historically, it takes into consideration like all of the data over the years based on similar weather that we had in the past. You can see a bird up there eating the bees. I don't know. My dad never taught me about the birds and the bees. He was not very much of a botanist. But the birds absolutely, you can see him jumping around, shaking the branches. The birds absolutely love cherry blossom season, which is my warning to you. Do not stand underneath the trees too long all the time, because they will deliver a package to you. It's not a pleasant experience either, because it's happened to me. The worst is if it gets into your open cup of beer, which has happened to somebody else I know. And the mean thing was that nobody told that person till they almost took a sip. We just wanted to see how far it could go. I mean, people drink too much. They're not quite aware of their surroundings at this time of year, so you kind of, have to let it go. That birdie's inverted. He seriously wants that blossom. He's going in full-on Bruce Lee here. Or Matrix, or what do you want to call that? He's upside down. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is, over there. We don't want to scare him. Let him have some fun. That's what the zoom lens is for. What do you think he's going after? He's a bat bird, writes in Iruka. It could be. Rob Britt Oz writes in here, wow, already another cherry blossom year rolls around. Have always missed cherry blossoms on my visit. Keep bring it to us via YouTube. Yeah, especially during those years where nobody was coming here, doing streams like this brought you to the cherry blossoms because you couldn't come here normally. And that was such a sad time. This year is gearing up to be maybe the biggest cherry blossom year of them all. I've been talking to some of the towns that I've filmed at in the past, and it seems like they've got so much, Nishio got so much interest when I featured them in Nagoya. And there's going to be a lot of people going to these local areas, in particular because there's not a lot of accommodation that's available in popular places right now for the cherry blossom season. Once the date gets kind of locked in, it's really hard to find accommodation. You have to book months in advance to get the hotel that you want, or at least a convenient hotel. And then around this time of year, you're starting to look like 2, 3, 4 stations away from where you wanted to go. And then sometimes even then, at peak times, they're not available. Japan is starting to catch up from the last couple of years. Oh, there he is. From the last couple of years, there was a hotel shortage during that era. A lot of them went under. And there's been a lot of building going on around 2013, and that's coming to fruition now. Like those projects are being completed. So there's a lot more accommodations in Tokyo than there were just 18 months ago. And that's a big deal because the prices have been going up and up and up, and they still might be going up just based on supply and demand right now. Where'd he go? Oh, he's over there. This little birdie's having a lot of time. Can anybody identify this bird? The exchange rate is starting to go down, and I think it's more because not the yen getting stronger, but the US dollar, sorry, maybe it's the yen getting stronger, but the US dollar is bound to get stronger, I think, this year. So I'm not sure if it's going to stay at this exchange rate. The yen is getting stronger, but I think that it's going to eventually get down to 135 and probably hover between that and 150. It's hard to see based on the change of administration, and if I think the U.S. kind of tapes down on fiscal responsibility, that could strengthen the dollar. But Japan is already starting to raise interest rates, thank goodness, in a way, and that's starting to slow down. They want inflation in Japan, so they kind of don't want to raise interest rates. They want inflation to start to go up. Oh, that bird's got some competition now. But if it does change, I will let you know. But right now it's hovering around 149 to the dollar. It's been trending down. It's hard to say what this year's going to come out to, but I would say it's going to be a relatively interesting year, so to speak. I think that bird thought he was a bee, Daniel writes in here. I totally agree with you there. The flu pandemic is over for all I know. It peaked a long time ago in Japan, so we're well beyond that. You can see there's a bee here. Beautiful. A lot of people are coming to the park to come and check it out. There's a robin underneath there. Yeah, you know, the new episode is done right there. I'm just waiting for the city of Tokyo to preview it. So hopefully they give me the okay. I thought they'd do it on Wednesday, to be honest with you, but I have to wait for them to confirm the information, make sure that everything is okay. It's a collaboration with the city of Tokyo, and let them do their thing. I would expect it would be released tonight. Thanks for asking about that. The main channel is getting two episodes a month, even if it kills me. But I'd like to do 4 a month, so. These are really hard, like story documentaries, so it's not like what we do here, which is live streaming. It's a little bit harder to create that kind of content. Gotta get some Suntory whiskey. Get some blue sheets and sit underneath the trees here. It's nice when you get the blue sky, isn't it? That's when the blossoms really stand out. Thanks everybody for watching live, checking out the cherry blossoms here in Tokyo. It's kind of a special time when you get a chance to share it with so many people. But the point of this is that the cherry blossom schedule has been released, and for Someyoshino, it's on target. However, you're going to find cherry blossoms blooming at different times, at different places, and it's something that you really need to consider, because over the course of the next few weeks, you're going to be completely slammed with YouTube creators visiting and those that live here doing cherry blossom episodes. And this year, I might be the same, but I'm going to tone it down a little bit because maybe it's time to maybe it's time to focus on the countryside a little bit more. Try to get out of Tokyo, right? I'll be heading to Nagasaki this month. I'm already treating it like it's March. I'll be heading to Nagasaki in March to do some interviews and work with the atomic bomb survivors, the Hibakusha. So working on a main channel episode. So I want to say thank you for that association of survivors who helped me set this all up. So I'll be there on the middle of March, and I'll take you with me on Only Japan Go. It's so important to preserve the voices of the generation as they get to a point where we're just losing so many of them now. There's an urgency for me, in particular, me, because I love history, to get as much recorded as I can right now. So I appreciate that. And thank you to my Patreon supporters for funding this kind of stuff. It's not something that's sponsored. It's just our viewers really like that kind of content as well. So I appreciate it. And so does that bird. Pretty. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate the questions. If you have any questions, you can leave in the comment below. I hope this helps you with planning your trip. I'll be doing some more episodes, including where to get breakfast in Japan. That's another episode I'll be thinking about making here. So if you have ideas, by all means, leave them in the comments below. I love to hear from you, and see you in another episode real soon. And shout out to Magical Trip. Thank you once again. Make sure you check out the links in the description for a 5% discount on any of the trips that they're doing, or at least the ones that I took. And that's the ones I know about. Those are the links there. But you can try the coupon code. I think it's only in Japan, one word. Mata ne.